Hey, Magic friends, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here. I'm Captain Class MTG, and I think there's more leaks. I know that at least one card's a leak. I went through, picked out about five. Yeah, so again, this spoiler season is so jacked up. As far as so many cards that came out before the leak season, and now they're leaking the cards that have already been leaked because we've seen them in packs and people posted it, and it's just a hot mess. But anyway, I got five cards we can go over real quick. And to kind of give you an idea where we sit, there's only about seven more cards to be spoiled. I'm gonna assume that's gonna happen tomorrow. Today being Saturday, I guess, when you see this video. Um, but other than that, I don't really know. If we don't get any more leaks, I got plenty of other content we can come up with, like Dominaria Mastered box values. But before that, we'll talk about what's going to be on the list, what isn't going to be on the list, top fives and tens for standard, modern, so forth and so on. Plenty of stuff to talk about until they figure out apparently how to do math and what cards they have and haven't spoiled, I guess. Anyway, so don't forget to sub up. I do appreciate it. We're trying to get to 1,000 peeps still, and we're not even halfway there. Sad but true. But regardless, here we go. So the very first card we're going to look at today is Mind Splice Apparatus. It's a blue N3 artifact with flash. We did cover this before. Um, and it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, put oil counter on the apparatus. Instant and sorcery spells cost one less for each oil counter on it. Now, even though this takes 4 mana to put out, it doesn't take 2 like most, creatures or whatever. In a standard format or even a commander slash brawl format, this is nuts. A, because it has flash, so like you can do other things, and if your opponent doesn't do anything and you're like, oh well cool, I'll just lay this instead. And if they counter it, I mean so be it, right? Um and not to mention you get 2 or 3 counters on this and then all your stuff is just so cheap, it's just ridiculous. Um I think this is going to be amazing. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a standard deck based around this because there's just too much shenanigans that can go along with this. Um, and I definitely see this being part of some kind of combo deck in the future. I mean, definitely in Commander, but maybe even some of the older formats, even at 4 mana. Because think about it. I mean, this may be better than a Brawl because this is harder to kill. It's not a creature. Yes, it's 4 mana, but let's be honest. If you're playing most combo decks, grape shots and what have you, you're not raw dogging a Brawl out there without protecting it. So you're gonna have that. So with that said, I think it's gonna be a pretty good card. So moving on, next we have Blight Belly Rat. So this was one of the speculated spoilers that had the weird art on it. So here's the actual card. It is real. Black and 1 for a 2/2 toxic 1. When it dies, proliferate. Great common. It's going to see lots of play. So next, we have Kenneth the Crucible Goliath. I think I covered this once. Red, black, and 2 for a 4/4. Beginning of your end step, sacrifice another creature. If you do, reveal cards top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card with a lesser mana value. Put it on the battlefield. Put the rest of the bottom in a random order. Um, I don't think this is going to be real good in older formats just because it has to be a creature that's smaller than whatever you sacrifice and so forth and so on. But in standard, I could definitely see a lot of shenanigans jumping off with this. Um, so this might be a player. And if nothing else in standard, a 4 mana 4/4 is not the end of the world. Still a pretty good card. So next we have this thing. So Vivisection Evangelist, yeah, basically it likes to dissect things. If you can't tell from the picture, splitting this little fella in half. So for a black, white, and 3, you get a 4/4 with Vigilance. That's already good enough for limited. Also, if your opponent has corrupted or is corrupted, which means they have 3 poison counters or more, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. This is a big deal, guys. This is a 5 mana 4/4 that comes into the battlefield and kills something. And it has vigilance, for God's sakes. This is going to be a great card for Commander because all it takes is one person to be corrupted. Because it says if an opponent. So out of 3 people, if one of them has 3 poison counters, you killing anything. Um, Now, for Standard, this probably won't see a whole lot of play. Um, I mean, maybe it will. I mean, who knows? In Standard, 5 mana is not the end of the world. And being able to make being able to blow something up and have it be a 4/4 with a 5 casting cost is pretty good. But past Commander, Standard, I don't see this seeing a lot of play. Um, Definitely in Limited. So this is going to be a pretty decent common. Probably nothing that's going to break the bank or come out in any kind of weird shenanigans. But this is a pretty good uncommon. All right. So next we have. All right. So bear with me on how you say this. This is one of the new one. This is one of the new cards I know was spoiled. Incubation Globule. I think I said that right. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, this is a 1 green artifact that comes in the battlefield. It enters the battlefield with 3 oil counters. Then, for 4 colorless and tapping it, you get to remove 1 oil counter and make a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem creature token. You can only do it as a sorcery. Does that really matter? I mean, for the love of God. Now, if you look at this in the grand scheme of things, you have to have 4 mana, so you're not going to be able to get one of these to turn 4. If you're playing elves and stuff, you get them a lot faster than that. Anyway, point being. So 4 mana gets you a 3/3. Um, you can do it 3 times because there's 3 oil counters. So for 12 mana, you get 9 power. You get 9 power worth of creatures and toughness. +1 for the casting cost. That makes it 13. Not the greatest rate. Still makes it good for limited. Now, with that being said, we have seen lots of cards that not only proliferate, meaning you put oil counters back on this, so you just start spitting out 3/3s all day long left and right, to also cards that will put oil counters on without proliferating. For example, there's that red card that for 1 red just puts an oil counter on something. Like you literally every turn could put an oil counter on this, and then during your turn, if you didn't draw anything worthwhile, or if you just have too much land, you just spit out a 3/3 every turn. Because why not? Plus, with all the proliferation and everything else, this is going to be an amazing card. I could see this very easily being a card that becomes a mainstay in standard. Because for 1 green, the ability to pump out 3/3s over and over out of 1 card, that's basically saying that you have a card, or even think about limited, for example, that for 4 colorless, well, 1 green once you get on the battlefield, but let's say 4 colorless when you actually activate it, you can cast it for 4, make a 3/3, flash it back, make a 3/3, and flash it back again for a 3/3. And matter of fact, you can keep flashing it back and make 3/3s forever. Or if you want to call it something better, you can call it buyback. Do you guys remember buyback? God, that really dates me, don't it? When you used to, you like capsize, for example, it was 3 mana, bounce any permanent. For 3 mana, buy it back, which means you put it back in your hand. So for 6 mana, you make them pick something up, and the card goes back in your hand, so you can cast it next turn. That's basically what this is. This is an artifact that sits on a battlefield with buyback. The worst thing about this is they can kill it because it sits on the battlefield. But that still makes this a good card in my opinion. And I really think we're gonna see this kind of take root, especially in decks that have things like Panharmonicon or anything else that lets you untap your permanents, so you just start spitting things out left and right constantly. Anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a good card. So that's probably one of the biggest spoilers of the day. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Like I said, if we can't find anything else, there will be content on Sunday. Don't you worry. I'll take care of you. There's always something every day here on the channel. So don't forget, subscribe up. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, now's your chance. Other ways to support the channel, check out links in the description to the eBay store, Patreon, and my email. And as always, till next time, be kind. And I hope to see you across from the game table.